Good morning, everyone. So my name is Eizu. I'm a business and management consultant. I spent the last 14 years restructuring businesses. My biggest challenge on this stage is how am I supposed to compress 14 years into 20 minutes? And yes, I understand that not everyone here runs a business, but there is a correlation between life and business. You see, life's a journey. You've heard people say that all the time. But what they don't tell you is that sometimes you get lost. It's part of the journey. And then you find your way back. Life's a journey, and sometimes you get lost. Whether life or business, people get lost. And then they have to restructure and get back on track. Who's noticed that one of the rare features on Google Map is the feature called reverse? Rarely does Google Maps say reverse. When you miss your turn, what does it do? It recalibrates and shows you the next turn. Sometimes it's even the faster route to where you're going to. Life's a journey, and sometimes you get lost. Don't beat yourself too hard. Just looking at the face value of people here, majority of you are probably in your 20s and 30s. A mentor of mine told me that we have morning, afternoon, and night as metaphor to life. Your first 30 years is your morning. 30 to 60 is your afternoon. And 60 to 90 is when you're winding down. That's your night. What am I on this stage for? How to reorganize and restructure your life. So having spent years building businesses and restructuring businesses, one of the most fundamental things I've come to realize is that the first step to building a great business or building a great life is to look at your business from 3 levels. Every business, it doesn't matter what you sell, whether you're into distribution, you're into product development, you're into services, it's the same thing. You must first of all look at your business from 3 levels: corporate level, management level, and operational level. Stay with me with these thoughts. Corporate level, management level, operational level. Every organization, no matter how big it is, no matter how small it is, whether it's your mom's small kiosk or it's Nigeria, we forget that Nigeria is actually an organization. And like I like to say, may you not run your business like Nigeria is being run. But what you find out in that is that the first mistake people make is to not understand that there are 3 levels to running a business. There's also 3 levels to running your life. So I'm going to keep talking about metaphors, business and life. The same things we are using in management consulting to restructure is very similar to the same thing you use to restructure your individual lives. So let's stay with the business trend. 3 levels: corporate, management, operations. What's the corporate level? That's where the C-suite sits. That's where you have all the chiefs: chief executive officer, chief marketing officer, chief operating officer, all those fancy words with COOs, CEOs, CTOs, CMOs, CPOs. That level only has one role. So every time you run a business and you forget that you only have one role, and that one role is strategic partnership. I don't know if anyone's seen the data in Nigeria. According to CBN, 98% of Nigerians do not have 500K in their account. Fact, CBN. 98% of Nigerians do not have 500,000 naira, not dollars, in their account. The people who scale above that, probably the C-suites, people who earn big incomes, have realized that the first thing you need to get right in life is partnership. Your first 1 million will come from hard work. Your first 10 million will come from smart work. But your first 100 million in life, and there are few people in Nigeria that have 100 million in their account. Remember, 90% of Nigerians don't have 500K. Those are the guys that understand strategic partnership. As a businessman, your first role is strategic partnership. Partnerships around how you can be better. Now, let's take it back to your life. There are 3 levels in business: corporate, management, operations. Corporate level has one role: strategic partnerships. But if you look at it deeply, you also find another role, which is direction. Whenever a business is not doing well and someone buys over another business, and that's happened a lot, whether local or international. Diamond Bank got acquired by Access. Exxon got acquired by Mobil. Every single time, the first thing we do is take out the top guys. Once a business is bought over by another business, we take out the top guys. Why is this so important? The top guys give direction and strategic partnerships. The same thing happens with your life. Now, stay with me. 3 levels: corporate, management, operations. Corporate supplies strategic partnership and direction. That's the work of everybody here who's a CEO. Every time you're not doing partnerships and networking and directions, you are shortchanging yourself. But in your individual life, you also have 3 levels: spirit, mind, body. Every time you're not doing very well, we rejig the spirit. What corporate level is to a business is what your spirit is to you. Corporate level in business gives direction. Your spirit gives direction. Life's a journey, and sometimes you get lost. This metaphor is very relative to you. If someone here is lost, it's something deeper than the journey. It's something about your spirit. And I'm not trying to be religious or to have conversations around that realm. But the truth about life is that the first and most important thing everyone needs to get is direction. Second level, management. So you want to restructure business, the first thing you do is you break the business into 3 levels, and then you define what the roles of each level is. So in management, we supply order. Now, so please stay with me with this. Corporate level supplies direction, strategic partnership, and networking. Management supplies order, and operations supply output. Every business has these 3 levels. If you see any business that is struggling, chances are that it hasn't realized that there are 3 levels, and it hasn't drawn a straight line that differentiates the 3 levels. Why is this important in business? Nigeria is a country where we try to outdo ourselves. We're trying to own the biggest of anything, the biggest yachts, the biggest cars, the biggest factories. In business, we say, don't own the biggest factory, own the biggest market. The biggest brands in the world don't own the biggest factories, they own the biggest markets. 1 billion iPhones has been sold since the iPhone 1. There are few products in the world that have 1 billion products out there. Maybe Coca-Cola. What they did was to own the market, not to own the factory. I don't know if anybody knows that Apple doesn't actually own a factory. It might surprise you to know that the screen for your Apple is made by Samsung. Don't own the factory, own the markets. So in 5 minutes, I'll just run you through steps of creating a better business. And always remember that the same process it takes to create a better business, same process it takes to create a better individual. First one is create 3 levels and define the roles of those 3 levels. Corporate level is direction. That's your biggest priority. Once you get direction, every other thing falls in place. Whatever it takes for you to get direction in your life, whether it's a mentor, yes, and I think everybody here should have an actionable point after today to get a mentor. A mentor will divide your efforts and multiply your results. In business, the first thing we do is get direction and get the right C-suites up there, and then we start thinking about order. So how do you create order in business? How do you create order in your life? Okay, so this isn't working. Okay. So the first thing you need to do after you create the 3 levels is for you to understand the role of corporate governance. And what's corporate governance in the corporate world? Corporate governance is really some set of ground rules that define how a business should be run. In the bank, corporate governance might say an MD can't stay more than 10 years as an MD. So you must always replace an MD after 10 years. But in life, if you see someone who's getting it right or who wants to get it right, after he defines the 3 levels and the role of the spirit, the mind, and the body, you must create ground rules for your life. What is your ground rules? It's easy for you to know what you want. Boy, girl, we say, what do I want in a man? What do I want in a woman? But I think the more important question is, what do I not want in a man, and what do I not want in a woman? I always tell my mentees, and I say, look, the most important thing is define what you don't want. So ground rules is a set of principles that define what you don't want. Everybody here must define what they don't want. For example, as a rule to me, I don't ever want to pass on an error. I do not want to pass on an error to my children. If anybody here is sending money back home, maybe to your cousins, hope you know that that's not your role. That was supposed to be your parents' role. An error has been passed on. Every single time you have a ground rule, and people around you understand that that rule is what guides you, it becomes your core values. So for restructured business, we define the layers of the 3 parts that make an organization top, bottom, and then we define the ground rules, which is what we would like to call in corporate world, corporate governance that guides the company. So in my organization, we break down the ground rules into 3 levels. We say shop floor rule, management rule, and operation rule. So for example, management rules say stuff like, oh, don't go into a meeting without setting an agenda, or don't go into a meeting without having a minute of the last meeting. Don't go into a meeting without a minute of a meeting. Those are rules. So in your individual life, what are your rules? What are your rules? And then, this is so important. Everybody that runs a business must have this 7S intact. Strategy, structure, shared values, systems, staffing. In management, one of the things we've learned to do is to pair people up. There's too many people who are trying to build 4x4 organizations with 2x2 minds. I said that again. Too many people are building 4x4 organizations with 2x2 minds. Where you're going to in life, are you trying to build 4x4, a 4x4 mindset, but with 2x2 minds? So one of the first things you need to do is to define the people who are going to go with you in that journey. Staffing. For corporate, we call it staffing. For you, it's your network, it's your friends, it's your mentees, it's your mentors, it's your environment. Because, like they say, if you hang around 4 dumb people, you are probably not counting right, because there might just be 5 people. If you hang around 4 broke people, you are probably the 5th. So regulating your environment is important. For us in management consulting, if we want to restructure, we get people to take tests, psychoanalytics tests. And I think that that's important also in running your own business. So quickly, in a nutshell, for you to be able to get a great life and to get a great business, you must first define your ground rules, which are your shared values. Things you can live with and things you cannot live with. Things you can live for and things you never live for. Define the structure. And structure in organization is first, define your organogram based on the 3 levels And then 2, ensure that you have departments. Every business must have departments that run them. And once you have departments, you can now take each department, isolate it, and then create heads of those departments. And once you create head of departments, you create KPIs for those head of departments. And once you create the KPIs for the head of departments, those head of departments can now recruit their own units. Now, stay with me on this thought. Success is very predictable. Like I like to say, anybody can fall off a ladder by accident. Nobody climbs a ladder by accident. For you to build a great organization, the most important thing you must first do is break down your business into 3 levels. As a CEO, sit on the high level, which is the CEO's level, and resist any temptation to do management and operations. What management really means is getting things done through others. Management is getting things done through others. For everybody who is here, one thing you must learn is the art of getting things done through others. Remember, your first 1 million will come from hard work. Your first 10 million will come from smart work. But your first 100 million will come from strategic partnership. And strategic partnership is the art of getting things done through others. If you must follow your path as an individual, you must also look at your life as mind, spirit, mind, body. Pray for direction, have a retreat, have mentors, whatever fills your spirit. And management in business is the same thing as your mind as an individual. Guide your mind. Whatever makes your mental health work should not be compromised. A Gen Z in my office told me a term on Friday, and I thought it was really important. I'm not sure if I remember it pretty well, but what he said was, I'm trying to remember the word. It says, no delulu is the solulu. No delulu is a solulu. I never heard that term except 2 days ago. And for me, that's a major thing in management. For you to grow in management, you must be able to have, I believe delulu means delusion. Solulu means solution. Am I right? In management, we tell people that if you must scale, you must have learned helplessness, which is some things you willingly become blind to. So for example, I love to drive, but I've willingly become blind to driving on weekdays because as a CEO, it's not the best use of my time to spend 3 hours in traffic. So I'm delusional to learning how to drive or driving. So in management, no delulu is a solulu by just being blind to driving. For yourself, for you to grow, you must be delusional to certain things that are self-sabotaging to where you need to go. Life is very structured and can be very mathematical. Remember, anyone can fall off a ladder by accident. Nobody climbs a ladder by accident. Thank you and God bless you.